Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to your online class. Today, I will be introducing to you a new poem. The last poem of your textbook, that is The Fountain. This poem was written by an American romantic poet, James Russell Lowell. He was known to be one of the most versatile poets of his time. He is associated with the Fireside Poets, a group of New England writers who were among the first American poets that rivaled the popularity of British poets. So here James Russell Lowell was a famous writer, children, and he wrote A Year of Life and many other poems. His poetry is full of nature and emotion, but his other poems are also full of patriotism and love for democracy. He is known as a suggestive literary critic and a lecturer on English poetry. So, have you ever seen a fountain? Yes, almost all of you have seen a fountain. I hope that everybody has seen a fountain. And when we see a fountain, what do we enjoy? We enjoy the beauty of the fountain. The water, okay, moving upward and downward, and the different means at different moment, daytime, in the night, in the lights, the different color of the water flashing upwards and downwards, and we enjoy it, we like it, okay. But have we ever thought deeply about the fountain? What message we can learn from the fountain? The same thing here the poet is bringing out. He is telling us, he is making the readers aware that we should also develop the qualities like a fountain. Now, what are these qualities? We will understand when we go through the poem. But let me give you a briefing about the fountain. Here the poet Lowell brings forth the magical qualities of a fountain in this poem. The fountain he describes is forever moving and forever changing. It inspires us to aspire for more and work towards it. It inspires us to aspire for more and work towards it means what? It tells us that set up your dream and work hard to achieve your dreams. As he describes the fountain, Lowell also brings together the two contrasting elements. Contrasting means the two opposite things, that is change and permanency. See, if you see change and permanency, they are two opposite words. But what is he saying? These two opposite things are seen in the fountain. Okay, and even they are seen in our lives. We will understand well when we go stanza 5. Here the fountain is an inspirational poem. The poet explains the fountain in three separate ways. Now, what are these three separate ways, children? That it is cheerful and vibrant. One is it is cheerful and vibrant all the time. Second is it seems to be aspiring higher and higher all the time. Aspiring means his strong desire. The desire of the fountain is to go higher and higher all the time towards the heavenwards. And the third point, the poet wants to master these qualities of constancy and freshness in himself. He wants to also develop, he wants to also have these qualities of the fountain in him. And he also asks us, he also makes the reader feel that we should also develop the qualities like a fountain. I hope, children, this is clear to you all. Let us understand stanza wise. So let's start. Open your book on page number 134. The first stanza, into the sunshine, full of delight, leaping and flashing from morning till night. Now, in the very first stanza, the poet describes how the fountain looks like, or the motion in the sunlight. He says in the sunlight, the fountain of the water keeps jumping up out the spring from morning to the end of the day. It seems to shine even more brighter in the light. This is the explanation of the first stanza. The second stanza. Now, what is being told in the second stanza? Let us come to the second stanza. Into the moonlight, whiter than snow, waving so flower-like when the winds blow. In the second stanza, the poet describes how the fountain looks like in the moonlight or at night. He compares the water with the snow and flowers. He says that the water looks whiter than the snow at night. He even says that the water which comes out from the spring or fountain looks like a white flower. Now, let us move to the third stanza, that is, into the starlight, rushing in spray, happy at midnight, happy by day. In the third stanza, the poet describes how the fountain looks like in the starlight. He says that the fountain or the waters looks as if it is sprayed. No matter day or night, the fountain stays forever. The poet too wanted to be happy like the fountain. Let us come to stanza 4. And in stanza 4, let's read first. Ever in motion, blithesome and cheery, still climbing heavenward, never a weary. The poet says that the fountain stays in motion all the time. It never stops or never gets tired. Just because the water keeps flowing upwards, the poet says that the water climbs the steps to heaven. It says that the fountain is found to be very energetic to flow all the time, and it has got the power to be happy. So children, these 4 stanzas convey meaning in such a way they are describing the fountain, the qualities of the fountains, and also the characters of the fountains, how it is at the daytime, how it is in the night, and the beauty, and it is not tired, it tries to move heavenwards. Okay, so all these qualities of the fountains are described in these 4 stanzas. Here in the very first stanza, the poet describes how the fountain looks like, or the motion in the sunlight. He says in the sunlight, the fountain of the water keeps jumping up out the spring from morning to the end of the day. It seems to shine even more brighter in the light. The second stanza, here the poet describes how the fountain looks like in the moonlight or at night. He compares the water with the snow and flowers. He says that the water looks whiter than the snow at night. He even says that the water which comes out from the spring or fountain looks like a white flower. Then the third stanza, here the poet describes how the fountain looks like in the starlight. He says that the fountain or the waters look as if it is sprayed. No matter day or night, the fountain stays forever. The poet too wanted to be happy like the fountain. And the fourth stanza, here the poet says that the fountain stays in motion all the time. It never stops or never gets tired. Just because the water keeps flowing upwards, the poet says that the water climbs the steps to the heaven. It says that the fountain is found to be very energetic to flow all the time, and it has got the power to be happy. Now we will continue the poem, that is stanza 5. Glad of all weathers, still seeming best, upward or downward, motion thy rest. Here the poet says, no matter what the weather is, whether it is winter, whether it is summer, whether it is monsoon, the fountain stays happy forever. No matter what the direction is, whether it moves upward or downward, it finds rest and happiness in that. Means it is satisfied. Okay. Stanza 6. Let's come to stanza 6. Full of nature, nothing can tame, changed every moment, ever the same. Now, here what is the poet explaining? The fountain is a part of nature. It is a part of nature. No one can take it in their own control, or no one can stop it from flowing. It keeps flowing upward. The water flows in a perfect ratio, that is always, it looks similar. Okay, now stanza 7. Stanza 7, ceaseless aspiring, ceaseless content. Darkness or sunshine, thy element. Now here the fountain keeps flowing water upward continuously. It seems as if he is very happy and satisfied by the heights to which the water reaches. Whether it is day or night, the fountain seems to be happy always. It teaches us what the atmosphere of nature is. We should always stay happy and satisfied. Let's come to stanza 8, the last stanza. Glorious fountain, let my heart be fresh, changeful, constant, upward like thee. Now, the speaker means the poet is very excited. He has got strong feelings on the subject that is described in the poem. Now, he can feel this. The fountain inspires. Inspires means motivates him to achieve his highest goals in life. He wishes to be happy and cheerful in all situations of life, just like the fountain. So can you see the message? The last stanza is a concluding stanza where the poet also wants to be like the fountain, happy and satisfied, and always means working hard to find the success, okay, to achieve success. Okay, he also wants to be like a fountain. Never he stops, whatever the calamities are, whatever the situations are, he's moving as it is without any change in its way. Okay, so the poet also wants to be like a fountain. This poem, the message of this poem is very interesting, children. Here, the poet tells us that we should also develop the qualities like the fountain. Actually, here the poem is giving us a message. Okay, it is explaining us how the fountain is filled with light in the presence of sunlight, and the light reflects and leaps and flashes from morning to night. Here, it is explained that the fountain in the moonlight is whiter than the snow and waves just like the flower waves as the wind flows. And below the starlight, in the starlight, the fountain drops like a shower. It is happy at midnight also, it is happy throughout the day also, means whatever the time is. It is still in motion, it's still joyful, it's always rising to the sky, and it's never tired. Means it never gives up. It's never tired. The fountain is happy during all the weathers and always seems to be the best fountain in upward or downward motion when it rests. It is full of nature and nothing can tame it. Means nothing can control it. Nothing can stop it because it keeps changing every moment and it's always the same. What is the two contrasting things we have learned? That it changes also, and it remains in its place also. Means it doesn't move from its place, but the beauty changes. The beauty changes according to the weather, according to the climate, according to the times of the day. Okay, even in brightness or darkness, it never stops. It is always happy and satisfied. Okay, the poet wants to become like a fountain and he wants his heart to be young, changeful, constant, and upward just like a fountain. And through this poem, we can also learn this, that we should also be like this only. We should also be fresh, changeful, constant, like a fountain, always trying, aiming at our dreams, never stopping, and we should always be satisfied in our life with whatever we have. Then only we can be happy like the fountain. I hope, children, the poem is very clear to you all. You have understood it. Go through the poem, learn all the word meanings and learn the poem.